job interview in Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was very gray there, very cold, very Jewish, a somewhat smelly, backwards area of the country with little towns next to slaughterhouses. But I've got a fever of 103 and trying to amuse myself on this airplane. Jesus, this is just, fuck. I can't understand this crap. I just get fucking sick in the middle of this job interview and I sort of lose control.
Do you have one of those eye masks? I must get some sleep in that light that keeps shining in my eyes.
I'm afraid we don't. Would you like a pill?
No, thanks. I'm trying to cut down.
You can always buy such interesting things in the Sky Mall. What was I saying? As part of my job interview in Ann Arbor, I gave a lecture on film editing aesthetics to their finest students and their faculty, in which I originally planned to cue a tape up to this section. It's a particularly beautiful series of cuts by George Kuchar, in which he throws some flowers into the garbage. It was supposed to demonstrate how one could break up an action. This simple act of throwing away some flowers becomes a piece of drama. And George cuts on a thought here with this little leaf as it falls and ties us back into the main theme and the nature reference. But I've miscued the tape. I've put it in a machine in the back of the room. It's on a 30-foot wide video projector, and what comes up on the screen but a series of erotic lithographs featuring sex with dogs, sex with demons, showing one's butt to a nun. Yes. Wow, I can blush because I'm bashful and shy. No problem. That's what I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to get everybody's attention. I'm trying to get that projectionist's attention. Please turn this thing off. I have miscued it, but there is no response. Nobody's looking at me. Everybody is totally absorbed in George's totally politically incorrect video. I look to the back of the room, and there is a line of wire-rimmed glassed bearded professors with their mouths wide open and they're elbowing one another. They don't see me. They're totally absorbed in George's wonderful piece of work. I never really realized how powerful this little segment was until I had experienced this one. Oh my God. So much for that job, huh? Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Somewhere over the rainbow. Why can't I find a fucking job that pays a little, just enough to like feed us and, the whole thing. A job. A fucking job. So I was lucky this year I got another job interview. I was actually fairly excited about this job because it was in a beautiful place I was familiar with Arcata, but I didn't know much about the school. On the way in San Francisco, I read an article in Spy magazine about a Jerry Lewis film that was supposedly the most politically incorrect film ever made. It was about a clown who made the children laugh on the way to the gas chambers. Poignant. Very moving. The Jewish children were played by Swedish kids. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed Swedish kids. First class from Denver to San Francisco. And you know what you get for first class? You get a handshake, and you get a little damp white towel that's kind of warm that you can wipe your face off with. And if you do it, it takes all the oil off your head. You break out. When I landed in Humboldt, John picked me up. 8 hours later, he was bending over in a hot tub, sticking his ass right in my face. He was really into ball. Last 2 job interviews, I was picked up at an airport by a guy in a suit with a sign that said Lee Bridgers. In Arcata, I was picked up by John, a guy in shorts and a t-shirt who drove a dilapidated old MG, who walked around the airport asking every single passenger, Lee Bridgers? Official Rawlings baseball. Lee Bridgers? Lee Bridgers? We got in his MG and we went to get some frozen yogurt. Signatures. He told me about how he used to play semi-pro ball. He told me about coaching a ball team. Told me about all kinds of stuff about ball. 586. Harmon Killebrew, 573, Reggie Jackson, 563, Mike Schmidt, 440. I mean, look at it. A baseball, a bat, think about it. A baseball, a bat, was it shaped like a bat, baseball? $599 for a baseball. I want this personal shiatsu massager that simulates the circular kneading techniques.
9, 10, 11 intelligent men and women around this big
in your
wooden
neck, back, legs, arms, wherever your body needs it.
Ball here, all over. College kids from all over. Summer, ball here.
During a quiet moment at John's house, I contemplated the mysteries audiovisual component system of the Sky Mall into a state of deep relaxation to enhance creativity, accelerate learning, and improve levels of concentration. $299.95 for a bunch of little red lights that go.
And I also have gotten over another thing. I don't think you got to be a woman anymore to turn women filmmakers on to the power of filmmaking in relationship to the issues of feminism and mythology and all that. And I stopped apologizing for my sex in relationship to turning women filmmakers on to the power of film in relationship to their feminist beliefs.
And to do this bullshit baseball metaphors.
The majority of
this
the
man
women in my classes and the ideas of a good man.
Absolutely no idea what's really going on.
4 or 5 books. And also some really interesting Greek children's stories. To prune the roses, then he would live to see.
Autograph Joe. I was beginning to see the spiritual link between baseball and existentialism. John was indeed a spiritual man. Therefore, I must share with him the Sky Mall. That spiritual guide, that bi-weekly spiritual guide that had been guiding me through my travels for the past couple of months. In turn, he shared with me his advice on filmmaking.
The frozen yogurt's great.
Come on out, it's great.
You've got to learn how to shoot and ask questions at the same time.
John's advice meant a lot to me, so I shared with him my findings in the Sky Mall. I had discovered a way to another consciousness through the use of these high-tech visual aids and vibrating devices that zapped insects and gave you back massage.
30 years of clinical research.
It seems that when used in conjunction with the solar-powered hat with a fan, that you would go into this other world, your assemblage point would move, and you would see the true nature of things.
A vacuum-powered insect disposal system. That thing is an insect disposal system. It doesn't look like an insect disposal system to me. It looks like something the wife will be using.
While in Humboldt, a mysterious person who will remain unnamed gave me a joint of some very powerful marijuana. I didn't want to smoke it while I was there, but I didn't want to take it on the airplane either. So I hid in a bush next to the airport before I boarded the plane and smoked the whole thing. I proceeded to get incredibly paranoid. I had a hard time putting my luggage through the metal detector. I felt like I looked like a professional drug runner. And I began to think that the plane is going down. And I began to look around at the people.
2 minutes to warm up our oil, and we'll be underway.
All the
We're expecting
gray,
to arrive in San Francisco on time.
all the depressed, overdressed, half-dead people. And I began to look around for somebody that didn't look like they were a dope. Somebody that looked like they had some hope. Somebody that looked like maybe they might survive because God had pity on them. And I looked for a child. A child. God might have pity on us if there was just a child in the plane. And I looked around and I looked behind me, and there was a little boy sitting behind me. But he was just as depressed and just as gray as his parents. This plane was definitely going to go down flaming.
Just simply remove the covers, lift up on the red handles, and discard out the opening.
I dreamed I was in the Yucatan, exploring an archaeological site, something like Chichen Itza, and I came across this pit lined with irregular silver masonry that was sparsely inlaid with quartz rectangles. I climbed down into this pit, and there was a doorway that led into a room that was the most beautiful room I've ever seen. To my left and to my right were walls of almost paper-thin jade, done up like stained glass. It had kind of an Art Nouveau flavor to it. I looked on the floor. There was a red stone skull staring at me. As soon as I made eye contact, it stood up and it became a spirit, a red skeleton spirit that told me, turn around and look into the mirror. I turned around and looked into this black Abyssinian mirror, and through these clouds of smoke, I could see gradually appearing as my own reflection, directly in front of me, a demon that looked a lot like the demon in the movie Curse of the Demon. He was kind of a nice-looking demon, actually. He was very friendly looking. He was kind of like, oh, well, hi, how you doing? You know, nice to see you. I turned around and asked that skeleton guy, what the fuck is going on? He said, listen carefully. Whenever the city is weak, whenever it is lazy, whenever it is sick, this being will come for you. I asked him, what's he gonna do, kill me? Eat me? Tear me to shreds? The red skeleton spirit said, no, he's just gonna put you to sleep.
Thanks for the shot, guys. I appreciate it.
No problem. We'll see you later. Have a good day now.
Okay, thanks.
Man, I gotta stop smoking pot. I'm just not amazed at how dumb I am. I'm one spaced out, stupid motherfucker. I walk around the airport for probably a half an hour after getting off the plane. I take my ticket out, it falls out on the floor. I walk around. The flight is at this place, okay. I proceed to haul off to the wrong flight. So I go out and I get lost, and I go to the wrong flight. I just go through the metal detector. I don't go through the metal detector. They won't let me through here. I'm just one of these 40-ish balding guys carrying around a Sony Handycam and some baggage. Gotta check my suit that I didn't wear, and I check my Sony Handycam. I have a couple of problems at this point. One is I have lost my ticket. Now, I don't know this right now. I'm in the process of going to the wrong gate. Not only am I at the wrong gate, but the plane I'm supposed to be on right now is down at the other end of the runway, ready to take off. So I stand in line waiting to get a seat on the wrong flight. And then I figure there's plenty of time. Fuck it, I'll go out into the room, sit down. After getting some interesting shots of this Filipino lady checking the shit out in this guy's pants. Watch this, watch her face.
Donna and Corey husband.
Hey. Hey, you got a metal dick here? What's going on? Well, I guess I'm letting this run because I can blow it now. I have the time. When will I realize I never will have the time? This airport is my life. This escalator is the meat cleaver that's gonna chop me to pieces. In white America. This is it. This is it. Just go here, go there, do this, do that. Nothing means anything. Nothing has any meaning. Nothing has any soul. Nothing. Everything is phony. Everything is halfway. Everything is so fucking boring. It's why I got into art in the first place. But art's kind of funky too, you know. It's this elitist kind of mumbo-jumbo, mealy-mouthed, phony wisdom handed down to us by a bunch of fucking nerds. And it's supposed to give us a reason to live, right? Art. A reason to live? Art for art's sake? Art. I don't think so. I think there's got to be something more important than art. I think there's got to be some kind of spiritual connection with the earth. What's the point? What's the point of being a white man? Need to go into darkness every now and then and check our luggage. What is that luggage anyway? What's that baggage we got? Slavery? What's that baggage we got? Tezcatlipoca? The god of warfare? Do we have to pour so much blood on the sun that we have to go across the fucking ocean and kill 300,000 Iraqis? Remember the Gulf War? What a fucking blowjob.
One of the first images of the ground war, female officers, and although they're banned from direct combat, their jobs do put them at risk.
For the most part, I think they're worried about the same thing the guys are, and that is getting wounded by shrapnel, gas attacks.
But 6 months into the conflict, Dr. Broadnax says women have not been a burden. Only about 70 have been evacuated from the Gulf for medical problems common to women, such as pelvic or abdominal pain, ovarian cysts, and in some instances, pregnancy. Military policy is to send pregnant women back to bases in Europe or the U.S. immediately.
Many of them are mothers who are separated from their families, which adds stress on top of being in a combat zone, and also the additional stress of not knowing how women are going to be treated if they're captured.
Oh my God, those Iraqis might treat them worse than we do.
And while the scenes of death are etched in the minds of those who saw it, there is little compassion for those who were killed.
What's the fucking point? Wander around the airport, search for God. Where's God? Hey God, where you at? Looking for God. Just one more slab of white meat on a conveyor belt. Looking for God. Just schlepping this cracker bastard off to see if I've lost my ticket. Keeping the coyote alive inside myself. The stupid things I do are incredibly amusing. And the way people see me, I love it.
Well, what we're going to have to do is
I
wait
could
until
be
the
Ted
agents open
Bundy.
up the flight and see if they've collected
I could
a
be
ticket
Solomon
from anybody.
Grundy.
And do you
I
have
could
your
be
ticket receipt?
Billy
You lost the
Mundy.
whole thing.
I have nothing.
I could be
This is
Salman
all in
Rushdie.
one package. What will happen if
I'm
they
a
don't
fucking
find it?
psychotic.
Purchase a new ticket.
I look at the way people
Like if you
don't look
lose,
at me.
like a garment of clothing that you purchased from someplace and you have the receipt. If you don't have the garment to return or whatever, then you can't just replace it like that.
What a fucking nightmare.
Since I just booked the ticket just a few minutes ago.
Well, before we, stress on that part, why don't you go ahead and retract your steps?
So now I'm looking for God and my ticket. I went everywhere all over the airport looking for my ticket. Looking for my ticket.
No, I'm not
This
sure. You
is
see
my
man out
life,
there in the
looking
green
for my
coat?
ticket. The guy out here with the green shirt. Okay, that guy. People of all races, creeds, and colors. Hey, totally incompetent. Not one of them. Hey, I love it. We're totally equal. We're all incredibly stupid. Off I go to the white courtesy telephone. White courtesy. Contradiction terms maybe, but white courtesy telephone. Courtesy.
White courtesy telephone. Now what the fuck do I do?
Excuse me, sir. What time is it?
What's happened?
I don't know, but I think the train's hit him.
Maybe it's better not to know.
The train must have hit him and dragged him.
I thought he was on the other side, sir.
Don't be ridiculous, Simmons. Look at him. The train must have hit him. You're right. Maybe it's better not to know.